Good afternoon, everyone. Country Flyboy here, and today, the next video in the weekly flight series. So I said it'd be different from last time. Last time we had an FS economy flight, and we flew some passengers around. Today we're doing something different. I used to do airlines all the time, but I've stopped doing them for a while, and so this will be the first time I've actually done an airline flight in a while. So we're going to take this fully loaded 757 from Atlanta. We're heading down to West Palm Beach, Florida. Should be a pretty uneventful flight, about an hour and a half long airborne time. When I say fully loaded, I mean fully loaded. I am using FS Captain for this flight. Let me go ahead and log in. And flight 1412 to PBI, scheduled departure at 12:39. There's another thing. We're probably going to be departing late because it's 12:30 now. We're supposed to depart at 12:39. The reason is our telephones were messed up, and the phone guy showed up to fix them, so I had to hang with him for a while. So I wasn't able to do this as quickly as I wanted, even though I'd already committed the flight with FS Captain right when he showed up. But it happens. And when I say fully loaded, I mean fully loaded. For some reason, FS Captain, let's see if I can't bring up the manifest, gave us a huge payload. So 179 passengers, which is, this plane holds 184, and plus their bags. We have 3,390 pounds of mail, 770 pounds in crates, which is additional mail. Oop, not that one, service door. 1,799 pounds of peanuts, 401 pounds of medical supplies, and 2,640 pounds of documents in 3 boxes. That is a huge freaking payload. That was 10, when I calculated, it may have changed since, but the planned cargo load for this flight, when I did the flight planning, was 10,000. That's 10,000 pounds without the passenger baggage. So the 10,000 pounds is just the cargo. Passenger bags go in there as well. I don't even know how the ground crew is going to get that much weight into the cargo bays of this plane. I mean, seriously. Well, they'll find a way, I guess. It's their job. Alright, catering trucks have finished their job. There will be meal service on this plane. We'll have a lunch service because this is a lunchtime flight, so we'll have a lunch service. It should be a pretty uneventful flight. The weather is ceilings, but they're relatively high, but it's going to be low cloud decks throughout most of the flight. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the flight started. Alright, so real quick, bring up FS Captain. This is that flight. We will proceed, and I'll just execute that, and we'll go with manual load. Open the main door. Cleared for load, and we'll just leave it there. Next, we need to verify the overhead panel is set. That needs to be on auto. Let's look at the fuel load. Okay, so our fuel load is, I'm looking at my flight dispatch on my PDF viewer here. Block fuel is 23.8 is released, 23.8 is on board. We'll turn the fuel pumps on. Okay, so that's good. We'll go ahead and set that to RTO. Real quick, I'm going to have my first officer, Jessica Reynolds, we're going to run through the before start checks.
Before start checks.
Okay, before start checks. Doors.
Closed.
Cabin signs.
On. MCP set.
Fuel quantity.
Is checked.
Takeoff speeds.
Reviewed set.
CDU.
Completed.
Trim.
Set. Correct.
Beacon light switch.
No, sorry, that's not right.
They don't really need to be on right now. We'll just bypass that.
Beacon light switch.
Yep, it's on.
Before start checks complete.
You know what? I was thinking that was the pre-flight checks. Ay, it's been so long. It has been so long since I've done an airline flight. I was thinking that was the pre-start checks, but in reality, the cold hard reality of it, this aircraft's checklist has no pre-start checks. It just goes straight to before start checks. Switch that to ATIS. Which we cannot hear for some reason. Well, we'll figure that out later. Okay. Well, after that screw up, come on, use your brain, think. Program the FMS, head into KPBI. Flight is Delta 1412. I am flying this flight on VATSIM. I'm connected. My flight plan's filed. No controller online right now, unfortunately, so that's the thing. We're departing via PDF, please. Braves 8 to Wallet. Braves 8, and we are expecting. We're going to be expecting 26 left, given where we are on the ramp. 26 left. To Wallet. Then we head to the Valdosta VOR. OTK. I think that's Valdosta's name. It's that one right here. And from there, we take Wallace 2 into West Palm Beach. So approach. Wallace 2. OTK transition, expecting runway 10 left, route activate, and we will go to the performance initialization page where my fuel is 23.8. We already checked that. 0 fuel weight today. It's high. It's very close to the limits. As soon as I find it, 183.6. 6. And if you're wondering what the limits for this plane is, 184.0 is maximum 0 fuel weight. So we are not very far away from that. And check the takeoff weight. Our takeoff weight is above max landing weight. And we are very close on all the maximums. 10.3 for the reserves. Cruising altitude is flight level 370. The cost index for this flight is 68. Yeah, our max takeoff weight we're close to max takeoff weight. We're close to max landing weight on landing too, and we're close to max ramp weight. So this plane is definitely fully loaded, and most of that's in the cargo base. So apparently Delta has suddenly become a cargo airline. Okay, VNAV. We'll just check all this. 7.9 is our cruise. Flaps. I'm just gonna punch in flaps 5. We'll derate mode 1 and assume temperature 10 degrees. I want to have a little extra takeoff thrust. Punch in our feeds and our CG. I'm just going to put 31. Current CG is 31.13. I'll just put 31. We'll set the trim 3.39. There we go. That's close enough. So pre-flight on the FMS is completed. We'll set, actually, I need to bring that back up. We'll set our V speeds, test that. 143, 146, 151. Okay. We'll go ahead and get passengers boarding. Alright, we'll set the autopilot up, turn the flight director on, make sure this is RTO, 250, this is set to runway heading, which is 274. $10,000 feet's fine. In real life, you'd want to set IAS Mach to V2 plus 15, but since we are a single pilot flying this thing, our first officer will go through the checklist with us, but she can't really fly the plane. She's just an external program, really. So it's best in flight simulators to go ahead and set that to 250. And in Atlanta, they want you to accelerate to 250 as fast as possible anyway. Alright, so let's set the pressurization, just before I forget. That's one thing I do forget sometimes. Let's see. Elevation at PBI is 20 feet. Overshot it a bit. There we go, 20 feet. Turn the signs are on. We can go ahead and switch those to auto. I'm actually going to go ahead and switch off the left hydraulic system. Get us ready for pushback. And we'll request boarding with GSX, which will not play through it plays through the speakers for some reason. I don't know why, but GSX sounds just play through the speakers. Alrighty. There comes the baggage carts over there. Gonna load the passenger bags on the plane, and we should be ready to push back soon. So let's go ahead and shut the passenger door. And as soon as they say GSX says boarding complete, I'll switch the boarding off. We're already running late on this departure. Yeah, we're already almost 10 minutes behind schedule. No traffic here at Atlanta, so we may be able to make that up in taxi. The schedule has a 20-minute taxi time, so if we can get off pushback within 5 minutes, we should be able to make that up, and I think we should be able to do it. Alright, boarding is complete. I've got the APU started. We're going to go ahead and shut and lock that door. Let's shut off the music. We've already run through the before start check, so there's no need to redo it.
The captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt
Shut up,
sign.
shut up, shut up. I didn't mean this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard.
I told the flight attendant to shut up.
Welcome you. The captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt
Alright, parking
sign.
brake is set.
If you haven't
Wheel
already
chocks
done
out.
so, we request that you store your luggage and take your seat
Red
so we
jet
can have
way.
an on-time departure. For those passengers seated in a designated exit row,
Proceed.
you may be called upon
Manually
to
adjust
open
payload.
exit doors for
Proceed.
emergency.
The aircraft
Please
is
refer to the
correct.
information card and the exit row information card
Proceed. Manifest
located in the
update
seat back
transmitted.
pocket to ensure you
Doors
see
must be
exit
closed.
criteria and understand the information. After carefully reviewing this card, if you believe you
Cleared for departure. We'll go ahead.
Please notify a flight attendant for reseating.
Ice warning. Do you want the ice treatment? This didn't tell us we need it, so we can ignore it. No. We're going through a north taxi, please. Alright. Alrighty. Tell Jessica to give her announcement to the...
Hello, everyone. This is First Officer Jessica Reynolds. For the entire crew, I'd like to thank you for flying with us today. We're a few minutes from closing up and getting on our way.
Everything
Glad to have you
is
with us.
set like it should be. We can go ahead and turn packs off. APU bleed needs to be on. APU gen needs to be on. Disconnect external power and bleed air. This is good. All this is good. There's no traffic at Atlanta right now. It's one flight inbound. He's a ways out, so there's no need to really say my intentions on CTAF with VATSIM. So I'm just gonna taxi. Ain't no need for it.
Parking brake
Brakes are off. Right. We're gonna wait until we are clear of the ground equipment, then we'll start our engines. GSX begins to push us out of the gate for a north taxi. If you're wondering what AFCAD I'm using here, this is actually a custom-made AFCAD. I made it myself, and believe it or not, I will be releasing this very soon. I am currently writing the README. I'm going to get some testers to help me out because I want this to work with FSX as well as FSX Steam Edition and P3D. So I want to get some P3D testers to help me make sure it works, but the AFCAD is actually ready to go. And as you saw, it is GSX set up for GSX. So those of you got freaking hiccups all of a sudden. Those of you who use GSX will thoroughly enjoy it. Alright, we are clear of the ground equipment. And let's just go ahead and start engine number 2 first. And we're looking for 23% N2. Stable at 23%. And then we'll turn on the fuel control. There's 19, 20. So we got 23, and then we count to 3. 23, 2, 1, start. Right engine's up. Right engine is stable. Repeat for the left engine. Yep, we get it up to 23% into. Once it hits 23, you count to 3, so I'll just go 22, 23, 2, 1, start. And that's to make sure the engine is stable at 23% into before you actually introduce fuel. Alright, there's 21, 2, 23, 2, 1, start. Alternatively, you can wait till it hits 24% into. Doesn't really matter. Engine 1 is up and engine 1 is stable. Alright, so we'll go ahead and flip on the engine generators. Leave the hydraulics alone for now because they're pushing us back. Turn on the bleeds, off the ISO, and turn off the APU bleed. Set parking brake. Once they tell us the equipment is disconnected, then we can turn on the hydraulic system. We'll switch this back to the takeoff ref page. And we'll go ahead and get the cabin safety briefing going. They'll play the video.
Aboard, and thanks for flying with Delta. Our first priority on every flight is safety.
We want to set the tilt to above. Set the transponders on transponder mode. Oop, we need to set that for the IFR squawk and VATSIM. They're unlocking the gear.
After start checks.
Okay, after start check.
Alright, after start, they have disconnected.
Anti-ice.
We can actually kill the APU now too.
Isolation valve switch
Hydraulics
off.
on.
Recall.
We'll go ahead and put the
Check.
taxi light on.
Auto brake as required.
Auto brakes are
Flight
RTO.
controls. Check.
Let's check the flight
After start
controls.
checks complete.
Full left, center, full right, center, full back, center, full front, center, rudder left, center, rudder right, center, first officers checking. Okay, flight controls are good.
Some electronic devices may not be used
Bring
in
up
flight at
the
any time. You'll find additional information
diagram on my
regarding
iPad
electronic
here.
devices
We
the
are
in-flight
in ramp
information
2,
section
I
of Sky
believe.
Magazine.
I think.
This
Might be in
plane
ramp
features
3
Wi-Fi,
actually.
and internet access will be available while
We're in ramp
above
3.
10,000.
Okay, so we gotta go to 3 north as soon as they get out
If
the
you're
way.
seated at an emergency exit, please review the responsibilities for emergency exit seating on the back of the safety
You might be able to
information
see
card, which is in your
Shadowplay's
seat
frame
pocket.
rate counter
Are
in the
you willing
corner
and
here.
able
I
to
don't
assist
use
with the
Shadowplay to
operation
record
of
flight
the
sim
exit
because
if
it keeps
necessary?
skipping footage. I'm testing, trying to get it to work, but
If you're
yeah, I'm
unable
having a
to
hard
perform
time with
these
it.
functions,
I have to
let us
use
know,
Fraps
and
to
we'll be
record
happy to
flight
find
sim,
you another seat.
and as you might imagine, Fraps eats the frame rates alive. The good thing is when I did do test recordings with Shadowplay.
As we leave the
Parking
gate,
brake
make
off.
sure your seatbelt
Wait for them to get out of the way.
to fasten,
And
insert
there
the
was no
metal
frame rate
buckle,
impact, which
and
was
adjust the
nice.
strap so it's low and
It was
tight
nice to
across
get the
back.
full frames that I
To release
always
the
get.
belt, just lift the top of the
Okay, it
buckle.
looks like the weather has cleared
Please
up.
remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened anytime the seatbelt sign is on. And even if the sign is off, please keep your seatbelt fastened in case we experience unexpected rough.
Lock spot, that's what I wanted. Alright, they're clear, so we're going to add the power. Get the plane moving. We'll taxi forward to 3 north.
Federal regulations require all passengers to comply with the posted placards.
Okay on the right.
Okay on the left.
In addition to
Alright,
any
set
crew
the
member
flaps to
instructions.
5, please,
Left
Jessica.
one.
Is
Left
not
5.
allowed on any Delta flight. And federal operators tampering with, disabling, or destroying
Traffic,
the
he's
rest
5
of the
miles, expect
There are 8
Tammy
exits on this
27
plane.
right is the one he's
4
landing.
doors,
That's fine,
one
we're
each
taking off
side,
26
and
left,
4
he won't be a
window exits
factor.
over the wings. The
He's
forward
coming in
doors
from
have
the
detachable
northeast, I don't know
sides
why
that
the
can
heck
be
he's
used for
saying he's going to land
flotation.
27 right, that would make
Light
no
rafts
sense.
are located in ceiling compartments at the
But
front
whatever.
and center of the plane. All exits
Reset
are
my
clearly marked
P real
with an
quick,
exit sign.
reset my altimeter.
However, if there's a loss of power,
And for those of you who are wondering, I'm going to advertise my scenery here. The scenery is going to come with a complete README. The README, I'm not even done writing yet, and it's 20 pages long already. And what that is just telling all the operation procedures here at Atlanta. We need to hang it right onto Foxtrot and take it all the way down to Echo.
Reach up and pull a mask towards you until the tube is fully extended.
Yeah, it tells you everything about operating here at Atlanta, whether you're departing IFR, VFR, online or offline. It goes into detail with everything.
So don't worry if
So that's why the README is so long. It just tells you everything you absolutely need to know. if you're going to fly into the world's busiest airport. Alright, so I don't need a diagram anymore. We just take this taxiway all the way till it merges with Echo, and then we'll get on the 26 left. Let's see, our departure is heading 275 until we are at 1,500 feet, and then we fly the 288 course to Snuffy, accelerate to 250 knots immediately after departure.
If your vest has 2 straps, fasten the straps to the front of the vest, and then adjust them loosely around your waist.
Okay, before takeoff checks.
Okay, before takeoff checks. Flaps. Flaps 5.
Jessica's running through the before takeoff checks.
Transponder. Set in TARA. Cabin informed. Checklist complete.
Alright, she's going to go ahead and inform the cabin.
Cabin crew prepare for takeoff.
Alrighty, I'm actually going to go right instead of left. Normally you go left.
Our
I'm going
speed
to
is
go
too
right.
high.
Oh, Jessica's telling me we're taxiing too fast. She does warn me. She is a good first officer. Flight Deck Companion is the add-on I'm using for her. She doesn't come with it. This is an actual third-party voice addition to it. Which the add-on that does the voices, Flight Deck Companion is a bit old, but it works. The one that adds Jessica Reynolds, my first officer, I don't think that add-on's available anymore, sadly. I got it while it was still available, so landing and strobe lights on. Still no need to tell anyone we're taking off. I'll go ahead and switch my labels on. Damn it, Ross is still acting up. I reinstalled this add-on and it's still messing up. Alright, so let's go ahead and take off. We're going to advance the throttle to full. Engines are looking good. Once we see 1.3 EPR, we hit the EPR switch. He's on 27 right, turning base, so he's still a ways out. Airspeed's active.
80 knots.
Good. Cross check good. V1. This plane's gonna have one hell of a takeoff.
V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear going up.
Gear up.
255, runway heading to 1,500 feet.
Gear up.
Turn on course, LNAV.
Gear up and locked.
Thank you.
Alright, flaps 1 please.
Speed check. Flaps 1.
I love this airplane. Even more than I love the 737. It's such a big plane, but it's so responsive. Alright, we're gonna pitch down to 10 degrees, let the airplane start to speed up. Flaps up.
Flaps up.
Alright, turning landing gear off. Turning all these off, they are needed. Flight level change. So pitch down and let the plane speed up to 250 knots. Autopilot's bringing the speed, or the throttle back now. Auto brakes are off. After takeoff checks.
After takeoff checks.
Okay, after takeoff checks. Landing gear up.
Up and off.
Flaps. Flaps up set.
Flaps are up.
Checklist complete.
Checks complete. A little bit of a turbulence going through there. Alright, we'll just let the plane speed up and we'll go on up to the cruise. Alright, just leveled off at descent. I've already turned off the seatbelt signs. LNAV, VNAV is on. Let's play the descent, or not the descent, the top of climb message. Come on, Brian. Alright, let's set the radar tilt to even.
Captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign.
Seatbelt signs are auto. This is good. Looking good right there. Let's let dispatch know we've just reached the top of descent.
When you are seated, you keep your seatbelt comfortably
Top of
fastened.
time
For your safety
transmitted.
and that of those about you.
Currently on time, so we did make up that delay on takeoff or departure.
Enjoy our hospitality.
Alright, should be an uneventful flight. But yeah, that's the picture that we're seeing across the southeast right now. It's just, I think South Florida, as they always are, may have better weather, but that looks right. High ceilings and solid overcast. It's really mucky out there. It's been raining for the past 2 days, and it's going to keep raining until Thursday. Alright, let's head down to West Palm Beach with this cargo flight of ours, essentially. Alright, we're coming up on the top of descent. Bring up FS Captain. It says I'm running 53 minutes late, but ETE is an hour 9 minutes, and I think we're going to be running early, if you ask me. I don't know why it keeps saying that we're running. It does that pretty much every flight. It says I'm running a whole lot later when I'm really on time. I'm actually running early, if you ask me, because we're less than an hour out, and it still says ETE still an hour. Anyway, let's get the weather for PBI. First thing I'd like to note is the time, 1753 Zulu. It is 1857, so this METAR should update very soon. So what we're actually going to do is I'm going to force an update with my weather aid on. It actually should have updated already. So I'm going to live weather, update dynamic weather, and that should force my weather to update. We'll just give it a minute. We'll go ahead and tell the flight attendants we're about to descend.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our descent, we request that you return to your seat and make sure your
Crossing altitude is set for 10,000 and the MCP altitude is set.
If you've taken out any carry-on items, please make sure they are safely stowed.
Alright, let's set the radar tilt to below. Couple of, ooh, look at all that over there, but nothing in front of us. Alright, the autopilot is starting down. Weather should have updated by now. And yep, okay, so 1853 Zulu, this is the current METAR, and winds were 210 at 9, gusting to 15. Visibility was 10 miles. So watch runway. Runway 28 right is actually in use now. I had planned for 10, but the winds have shifted enough to favor runway 28 now. So we actually, according to the star, we need to set this to 11,000. This should still have us cross the waypoint at about the same altitude. So as long as we cross it at 11,000, and we'll shoot the ILS to a right approach. Star real quick. Alright, after the star endpoint, we'll get radar vectors to the airfield. Alright, so I've loaded I got the chart loaded, and the pressure is 2989, temperature 28, dew point 18. Skies look good, visibility is good. So 2989, we'll set that once we get lower. Now, I've already ran through the descent checks off camera. I accidentally hit the button that played them, so. It's been a while since I've done an airline flight, but I haven't made too many mistakes. Most of the I haven't made too many mistakes as far as the aircraft is concerned. I've just made some mistakes when it comes to hitting some buttons with the add-ons I use that I shouldn't be at that time anyway. Alright, so the plane's starting down. Let's head on into West Palm Beach. Alright, coming on the downwind for the runway. Airport's over there. Yep, almost 2,000 feet. Let's go ahead and we can cut the anti-ice off now. We're not going to need it anymore because temperature is 27 degrees Celsius out there. I should have cut that off earlier, but oh well. Alright. Altimeter is set. Weather radar tilt below. Autopilot will be turning off soon. Let's go ahead and run through the approach checklist.
Approach checks, please.
Right.
Okay, approach check.
Runway turn off lights on.
Seatbelt sign. On.
Yep.
Landing lights. On. Altimeter. Set. Approach checks complete.
Alright, we're going to just fly out on this heading for a little bit after we level off at 2,000 feet, and then we'll turn around and go down to Belty. 1,500 is where we want to cross Belty. We'll actually maintain 2,000. We're shooting a visual approach. The only reason we got the ILS program is for reference purposes. Alright, as we slow down, set flaps to 5. We'll arm the spoilers. She should call that. It takes a little while for her to realize I've armed the spoilers, but normally she does say spoilers armed. I think we are far enough out. We can go ahead and start the turn inbound. We'll maintain 2,000 feet since we're shooting the visual approach. Go ahead and seat the flight attendants.
Flight attendants, prepare for landing.
Alright, you see we got the localizer set up and the glide slope is received. Not that we're going to be using them. Alright, minimums for this visual approach are 200 feet. That's company policy. They want minimums 200 feet on visual approaches. Auto brake setting, level 3. Alright, autopilot off. I'll leave the auto throttle on for now. Switch the auto throttle off now. Set toga mode on the auto throttle mode selector. Our approach speed is going to be 13. Our approach speed, start our turn inbound, is going to be 136. I'm going to overshoot the course.
Localizer captured.
Thank you.
So I tarred that
Set
turn a
missed
little
approach
late.
heading, please.
But it'll be alright. A little too low. Yeah, we shot right on past it, but I have the runway in sight. Gear down,
Gear going
set
down.
flaps 15.
Flaps 15.
On the bank angle there. We'll just point the nose right on the other side of the runway numbers.
Gear down.
Throttle back and start slowing the plane down.
Gear down, locked, 3 green.
Okay.
Down lot 3 green. Okay, going through 170 knots. There's 165, flaps 20.
20.
Flaps 25.
Flaps 25.
Flaps 30.
Flaps 30.
Glide flow. Glide flow.
Yeah, I'm on visual.
Glide flow.
I do not care.
Glide flow. Glide flow. Glide flow.
Alrighty, about 3 miles out. wind's coming from the left. So we have a 9 knot crosswind from the left. Slight crosswind.
Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope.
It's fine. Yeah, we are slightly below glide slope, but it's okay.
Glide slope.
I'm watching the PAPI, not the electronic glide slope.
Glide slope.
Visual approach, you know.
Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope.
There we go.
Glide slope.
Landing.
Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope.
50, 40, 30, 20,
Throttle to idle.
10.
Spoilers up, spoilers up.
Reverse.
Reverse thrust engaged. 100 knots.
Increase reverse.
80 knots.
Increase reverse.
Reverse idle. 80
Yeah,
knots.
I normally
60
use
knots.
idle reverse thrust on landing because that's usually what the airlines do. Manual braking.
Manual braking.
As they don't use full reverse thrust unless they absolutely need it. We'll take this high speed turn off. Flaps up.
Flaps up.
But I had to increase reverse thrust. I didn't realize it was raining. Alrighty. So turn the aircraft onto the taxiway. Not too bad a touchdown. Bring the aircraft
Spoiler
in.
down.
Well, that was quite a bump. And I know what you're all thinking. I'm here to tell you it wasn't the airline's fault. It wasn't the pilot's fault. It
Alright,
wasn't
spoilers
the
are
pilot's
down,
fault.
auto brakes
It
are
was
off.
ATL's fault. We ask that you remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the captain taxis what's left of our airplane.
Okay.
through the gate.
Weather radar to standby and set the tilt to
Terminating our
even.
flight, so we ask that you check backseat pockets,
Set
closets,
this,
and overheads
is there an
on any
ADEX?
articles that you might have brought with you.
Negative, so we can turn this to standby now.
As I'm sure the articles have shifted during our flight.
Set this to prog
Anything
mode,
left behind will be distributed evenly among the flight attendants.
or prog
Do not leave
page,
children or
because I need to
spouses.
look at the fuel.
For those passengers.
Because this add-on, like so many others, has no windshield rain effect. And we're going to flip these off. Alrighty, we'll bring it on in. Looks like there's a marshaller there waiting on us. Jessica, if you don't mind flipping off the taxi light. Alright, give it a little bit of power to keep us going. Ah, hell. His hands went behind the building. Now I can't see him. Right there. Oh, a little too far. Alright, set the brake.
Parking brake set.
Brake pressure up.
And we'll kill engine number 1. And we actually leave engine 2 running until the ground crew has turned on or hooked up the external services. Jetway is coming up to us. Ground crew has hooked up the external services. So we can turn off all this stuff we don't need. And we can kill engine 2 now.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to ask that you please remain in your seats with your seatbelts fastened until the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. Flight attendants, please prepare the aircraft for gate arrival.
Alright. Head, and we can...
Parking brake.
Set. Correct.
Fuel control
this.
switches.
Cut off.
Off. Turn that off.
Weather radar.
Okay, off.
Off. Flight directors off.
Doors.
Doors are open. Beacon
Checklist
light
complete.
Off. Alright, let's see what FS Captain has to say. 28 minutes early. Yeah, that's going to get me for that one, isn't it? Proceed. Flight update transmitted. Yeah, but you see, I actually 28 minutes early, and it was telling me I was 100 minutes late the entire time on the descent. Alright, so I scored 80 points on that flight. We have 178 passengers, so they're deboarding now. Let's play the deboarding music for them. Alright, so that is going to do it for this flight. We just completed a nice hour-and-a-half long flight. This fully loaded 757. I don't think I've ever had a payload this heavy that wasn't just fuel. Like, normally it's passengers, their bags, and a little bit of cargo. Then the fuel makes up the rest of your weight. That is what pushes you close to the maximums. But this time it was backwards. It was the passengers and their bags, and the fuel was actually relatively light, only 80% in each tank. And then it was the cargo. There was so much cargo on the plane that we were close to the maximum weight on each and every single part. So we were close to max zero fuel, close to max ramp, close to max takeoff, and close to max landing. So it was a pretty heavy flight, and the plane did fly like she was heavy too, so. But anyway, that's going to do it for this flight. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.